So according to Edge magazine, the next Xbox could have always online functionality implemented into Xbox Live, meaning you won't be able to play used games on your Xbox. That's well, it's leaning towards that way. It's not a definite possibility. It's not a definite like it's not set in stone. But Edge magazine reported that their sources have said that Microsoft is doing what is making a move that publishers and developers have been asking for, and that's making the Xbox, or making the home consoles always online, so that you won't be able to play any used games. Xbox will be implementing this first. They don't think that the PS4 will have this feature. At least nobody thinks the PS4 will have this feature. They say, like, one quote from Edge says that right now there seems to be a subtle role reversal happening between Microsoft and Sony, whereas when last generation Sony, the PS3 was a complex box that was meant to be like an entertainment super hub, while the Xbox 360 was more PC-like and developer-friendly. Now they think that the PS4 is going to be more PC-like and developer-friendly, while maybe keeping some of its entertainment super hub capabilities, while the Xbox is going to lean more towards how the PS3 was more stricter and a more complex box to use. With these developments, I think if this is true, I can't really say it's going to be a lot of trouble, because people been dealing with this for a long time. Like, if you bought something from Steam, if you bought something from Apple, the App Store, Apple App Store, it's a couple, like, those are two major platforms that people tend to like, but they also have a policy where you can't really sell used games. One thing that I think this might do to work in Microsoft's favor is that this could drop the initial price of games on the 720 or the Infinity or whatever they call the system. It could drop the price on the games for their system in the long run if they use its always online functionality. Now, if it doesn't drop the price and developers are like, no, it has to be $60 from start to finish, I think this is going to cause major problems in Microsoft, and you'll see them slowly trail away from gaming at all. Like, they'll start releasing entertainment boxes that do gaming related stuff, but it won't be for strictly gaming. Even though the consoles that we have now, well, some of the consoles that we have now aren't all for, like, they're not strictly gaming, but gaming is the primary focus of these consoles. I believe if Microsoft goes this way, then gaming is going to take a back seat to all the entertainment stuff, and that might be a problem for them, at least early on, because it was something that Sony tried to do when they initially released the PS3, and they were advertising it as, well, it was the cheapest Blu-ray player, and they advertised it as basically like a Blu-ray player that played games. And I believe that was a major problem. Other than the price for the PS3, that was a major problem. They advertised it as a Blu-ray player that played games. And if Microsoft advertises their next Xbox as a set-top box that plays video games, they could have the same problem, and you might see that big swing of people going back to buy their the PlayStations, going back to the Sony side of things. With the major focus now being that it's not the major focus isn't like the major focus of it now being not exclusive, well, not third party games, since there really aren't, well, there are exclusive third party games, but there's not a lot to warrant anybody to get like big about it, because they just third-party games are mostly multi-plat, because the developers and the publishers need that money, that extra generated revenue from having it on multiple systems that they didn't have before. Originally, like back in the day, a couple of generations ago, 2 or 3 generations ago, if you sold 1 million copies of a game, you were set. 1 million copies was a good thing. Now it's gotten to the point to where like with Electronic Arts or EA for short, they're talking about if Dead Space 3 doesn't sell 5 million copies, they're going to kill off the series because it's just not worth it. And you're going to get a lot of that going forward, where they're going to kill off series, where you're going to see a lot of series being killed off because they're just not worth it. So to stop that from happening, you saw a lot of people go from being Sony exclusives, like the Grand Theft Autos, the Final Fantasies, Dragon Quest, those kind of games. They stopped being like Dragon Quest, Monster, those games. They stopped being PlayStation exclusives, and they moved to either other platforms that would allow them to sell more, or they moved multi-platform where they were allowed to generate a greater amount of revenue. With now, I don't know what this means for next generation, because I can't tell the future. I just think that if this happens, if the next Xbox goes for the set-top box that plays video games route, the way that Sony went the Blu-ray player that plays video games route, they're going to be in a lot of trouble early on, because especially if they allow Sony to release first. If Sony releases their console first, then yeah, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, and I don't know if they're going to be able to dig themselves out of that hole. Now, let me know what you think in the comment section. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Embrace me as her king and as her god.